Sorry for the ugly face. Where can I put this so that they can record my ugly face? I just gotta put on these gloves, which are wet, and then I gotta touch the phone with them. I hope it's got like that, whatever, 67 waterproofs, yada yada yada. Come buy our new phones. It'll literally S your D for a convenient price of only $4,999. Anyways, I've been watching too much Kami K. If you guys don't know who she is, I believe she's from Australia. Just like JJ McMuffin. He's pretty cool. I like him. And he's very intelligent. And also I love the fact that, you know, for some reason, sexuality has become like such a like, do they like women? Do they like boys? It's become such a like, not taboo, but it's like it becomes like such a center of attention. But when I watched him, I literally watched him for like maybe like a year before I even realized that he was, homosexual. And I love that about him because, he did not once bring that up, to define him as an individual. He knew exactly, what he was there to do, what kind of, what the. All right, let me just here. I'm still watering by the BTW. I just left it here because this part, I don't know if it doesn't get enough sun, but it's just a little brown. I don't know if you can see it, and I don't like that brown. But I made a puddle over here. OMG. Anyways, but so yeah, JJ McCollin, he's an awesome YouTuber. I gotta add him to the list. And also the list that I added the other day in the description, so of like channels for you guys to check out. That's just like maybe like a tenth of the channels that I watch. As far as channels that I watch on a consistently basis, that might be maybe about a third or a half. I'm not sure, but I'll watch a lot of things. A lot of times. Here, let me show the watering while I talk, because you guys don't want to watch my ugly mug. Anyways, a lot of the times, I'll just like pick the first video that the almighty algorithm picks. The stupid algorithm. I'm so tired of that word. And you know what? I'm also so tired of like, Silicon Valley trying to like market things so that they make it seem like it's like the next level type of thing. When all of the stuff that they've been marketing is just stuff like, that's already existed, and they're just putting like a new like label on it, It's not anything new. And but the masses, they love it, they love the presentation, they love the people involved, I guess maybe because of the charisma, maybe. I mean, I guess Elon Musk hosted SNL, that's a plus in my book at least, but and he said some joke which I thought was, I don't know if it was inappropriate or not, because I'm not one to say what's appropriate or not. I'll leave that for you guys to decide. He said a joke about Asperger's or something, that he was the first host to openly admit that he has that condition or whatever, and I don't know. I mean, was it funny? Was it not? I mean, if anybody's seen that show and wants to leave a comment, please do. I more than welcome it. Also, I would deeply like to say thank you. I apologize ahead of time. I forgot your name, but you guessed it correctly. I'm pretty sure. I'll ask Mom today to make sure she'll know, but you guessed the type of tree correctly. It was indeed a mango tree. It was brought from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, down to where I live in Pembroke Pines, Florida. Fort Lauderdale's more in like the center of the county of Florida. You got to remember, Florida is pretty simple. It's the South Florida is considered up with the Tri-County area. The furthest south is Miami-Dade County, which my neighbor across the street, he's a police officer for the city of Miami, which IMO it might possibly be one of the best cities to live in, because it was built so early that around those times, like if they did have cars, they didn't have them the size they wore, and also mass transit. Let's turn off this thing from automatic there. And then so it's like a walkable city, and you know, and it's and if I'm not mistaken, it's got a lot of public transit. And some of the public transit are some of these tri-rails that go above the ground, so you're not going to get stuck in traffic. So it seems like an excellent city to live in. So again, I'm in a struggling position. I'm going to be straight up honest with all of you guys out there who may or may not be watching. So more than likely people not watching, which is okay. I'm being honest with myself then. On the part of the application for the store that I want to apply for, which is like a supermarket store. Why is it not opening? Oh, it asked me if I attended anything like after high school, and I did. I attended Broward College, but I did not graduate because they have well, at least 3 that I know of. They have Associates of Arts, which means you would continue to get an undergrad. They have Associate, I think, of Applied Science, which means that you would probably get a job in some kind of like, maybe like an AC like a AC repairman helper. You learn from him, blah 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 blah, and then bam, you know, you can eventually become the one that repairs the ACs. You know, that's associates in applied sciences, I believe. And then the 3rd degree, which they started offering not that long ago, actually. I mean, it's long now because I'm 61. But when I was around like maybe my late 40s, early 50s, they started offering a bachelor's degrees, which is just a straight up undergrad. So you could essentially go to a community college, get your undergrad for heaven knows, you know, the cost of. I'm gonna cut this down. He's not gonna like me. Oh gosh. Anyways, you know, you're essentially getting an undergrad for like probably like, you know, a quarter of the price if you went to a private school. And that's a life plant, so I don't think this will do it right here. Life plants usually are hard to pick, but that's not a tree, it's a plant, so maybe it will cut it off. He's gonna get mad at me, but it's getting in the way of my of this right here. So we just cut it like right here. There. Alright, that'll do. If he gets upset at me, I'll just sit there and I'll see what he has to say, and I'll take it like soldier. I'll make sure I'll bring some lubricant for me. I'm not here to threaten people. That's not my style. There's already enough, you know, anger out there. And what really gets me upset is that the anger is over stupid stuff. OMG. I think if they had, you know how they have indexes that measure like, you know, world happiness, that measure, you know, GDP, you know, per country, or measure this. If they had an index for like the world's, like, you know, like that movie Idiocracy, which is a cult classic. How was the name of the guy? Like one with the Beavis and Butthead, Mike Hudge, I believe his name is. I believe he wrote and directed it. When it came out, it wasn't really big. It was with I forget what's his name, but what's her name is beautiful. Oh my goodness. And she was in SNL, and I forgot her name too. Anyways, if they had an index to demonstrate, like, you know, the level of idiocracy in this world, like we'd probably come in like top 10. And I'm not being anti-American. As a matter of fact, I'm being the opposite. I mean, the fact that we would come in top 10, you know, that's kind of like a privilege, because that means that our people can essentially survive situations and, you know, not really have to apply themselves that much to it. You know, in other words, we're kind of like spoiled little babies in a way. And it is true, you know, all the facts. I mean, the facts, like I said, always question everything. We make up 4% of the world population, and we consume everything. I forgot. I think like 30 or 40% of the cows and like the electricity. I don't know. But that's probably like a number so astronomically huge. And it's true. When I was in Colombia during nighttime, lights were out. People didn't have AC. Only the people with money had AC. And if you want money, you got to become like a doctor or a lawyer or a business owner, or it's got to be generational wealth. You know, like people that pass down land to you and stuff like that. And even then, you still have to be smart about it. But it's still yours because Colombia is not like here. Here, they charge annual property taxes. I mean, as much as I hate it, it makes sense because it helps, or at least it should help, to maintain the property nice. So in other words, you know, the only time, I'll be straight up with y'all, that I've gone and I just cleaned up an area for no reason, you know, whether it be like the side of Johnson Street or something, was when I was under the influence, you know, because that's one of the side effects for me, you know. I used to take some good, back then I think it was still H. Fentanyl wasn't really like too mainstream, and the guy that I used to go to had pure, and I used to do a little bit of H, and then next thing I know, since I didn't really have any friends, and the one friend I had, she would usually hit the corner, you know, to try to get more money. Not as a working girl, but just asking people, please make donations. And while she was doing that, I grabbed a big black garbage bag, and I would start just collecting garbage. You know, I found it. Part of the reason was because we used to hang out there a lot, so I kind of want to take a little bit of pride of like where I am, kind of like here right now at home. That's why I like to clean. You don't have to tell me to clean. Sometimes Dad does remind me, like on days, because I do suffer from bipolar. It's mostly under control, but there are still times when, maybe it'll act up a little bit, and, I might go like, 3 or 4 days without having done anything. Look, this morning, I was actually working on, before I started going out and doing all these things, I started working on the script because I wanted to make a scripted video for a change. Here, I'm going to show it to you guys. So, I have the date up here. Today's the 24th. I said, good morning, my fellow I put Floridians. I didn't even put YouTubers. I said it is, and that was going to be the time, which right now it's 06:51 hours. And then the temperature, which I have no idea. Fahrenheit in beautiful Pembroke Pines. And I have to say beautiful Pembroke Pines because Pembroke Pines is a beautiful city. If anybody comes down here to tell me otherwise, feel free, fly me up to where you are. And if your city really, like outshines and, outglories Pembroke Pines, then, I'll say, hey, you were right. Your city's better. But till now, I don't go anywhere. I used to, but not anymore. Anyway, so want to know how some of the rest of the contiguous U.S. is doing. It is 59 degrees in El Segundo. This was around like 500 hours, California. Weather per what does it say? The weather per Weather Channel, it is cloudy. And in my hometown, Barranquilla, has it the worst. Quite maybe, has it the worst, comma, quite maybe, comma, with 80 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 27 Celsius, because over there they use the metric system, and raining. And so, yeah, so they had it the worst over there. So, anyways, I'm going to stop this video. I got to get changed. As you can see, I'm still wearing yesterday's clothes. And I spilled coffee all over this shirt when I was riding the bicycle. So I got to get it washed. And that's it. All right, everybody have a wonderful day. I changed the way I said goodbye now because something that struck me very important in my heart. I hope you feel gratitude for all the blessings that you are blessed with today. Um, please, if it's not too big, if too much to ask, please be kind to one another, and also may peace and love be with each and every one of you. All right, bye, peoples. Hey, everybody. I wanted to add a little bit to the video I just shot. I hope you can hear me. I don't want to talk too loud. It's nice and pretty peaceful inside here right now. But the movie I had mentioned, which had the actress, which is extremely funny, and she is a very beautiful lady. There's two protagonists in that movie. The main protagonist, in actuality, is played by none other than Luke Wilson. And Luke Wilson was essentially in the movie. I think he was like the librarian of of the library at the military facility, and all he did was just sat down and play video games. He didn't want to leave. And then they wanted to conduct an experiment to where they saw if they could send people into the future or whatever. And then they had to pick like a random girl off the streets or whatever. And they just so happened to pick the character played by Maya Rudolph, which, let's just say, is not a wholesome character, to put it in short words. And he doesn't realize this at the very beginning, after he gets unfrozen, then she gets unfrozen, and then things start escalating from there. But yeah, the movie, when it came out, it did not receive any good like critical reviews. But now it is known to have like a cult following, and I don't know, because like I remember, I think the New York Times, maybe a couple of years before the Wright brothers, flew their first airplane, they said it was going to be like hundreds, if not thousands of years before we see something that can fly over the air like a bird. And then sure enough, like 3 or 4 years, like a couple years later, it happened. So I can sit here and say that, climate change is going to be something that's like, we don't have to worry about it till our great grandkids. But who knows? Maybe there's this author named Robert Mitchell. The last name is Mitchell, I believe. He sells his books out of Amazon. I read one of his, and it's pretty dim, especially when you're compared to watching content on YouTube and you read it in real life. Now, do I want it to happen? Of course not, because if what he said was correct, that means that we have about less than like 40 years left. And then until his theory, if I remember correctly, was that as the CO2 gases increased in our environment, they caused the atmosphere to grow. Kind of like when your body is subjected to a vacuum. When your body is subjected to a vacuum, you'd be surprised at the extent at which your epidermis can, you could literally balloon up. So in his theory, he said that, the atmosphere is going to expand due to the greenhouse gases that we emit, and we've been emitting for a long time. Even if we were to stop today, we would still be seeing side effects from greenhouse gases from like another 100, 200 years. So that Go Green campaign, allegedly, like I said, I'm not formally educated, so everything that I say is from things that are hearsay, things that I see from the dumb tube. I don't talk to a lot of professors. I would say the only professor I've had in my life was my father. And, that's getting old in age, I'm 60, I'm turning 61. He's going to be turning like 78 soon. So, it's not the same. Your mind, unless you constantly keep practicing, but, the practice is just, it's monotonous. And unless you find maybe like some eye candy to keep you company, while at the same time, you have the strength in your brain not to have blissful thoughts, which good luck with that because we're all humans. But anyway, so in his theory, the atmosphere balloons because of the increased amounts of the carbon dioxide and all the other greenhouse gases. And then that causes the clouds to essentially, if I'm not mistaken, clouds are lighter than air. And then the clouds go up higher into this atmosphere. And then the force of the gravity is going to be greater from, like, let's say the moon and the sun than it is going to be from the ground level, like the gravity that is exerted by our planet. So what this means is that instead of raining down, it's going to rain up, and we're essentially going to lose water from this. Now, this was just a book that somebody just wrote. Will it happen? Maybe. Will it not happen? Probably not. Will it happen? Only the heavens knows. So that's my 1, 2, 3 motto to try to get myself out of anxiety a lot. Anyways, nonetheless, this update was supposed to take about like 5 minutes. I'm already almost at 7 minutes. Nothing else going on. I'm going to finish this video, upload it. Oh, the other thing I wanted to say was, I put an outro. I'm going to put an outro. And if there is anybody out there that, seriously, well, 2 things. One, if you are willing to give with a cheerful heart, number 1. I don't want you to give and or hold any sort of resentment or any sort of anger or any sort of doubt. I want you to give with a cheerful heart, number 1. And number 2, that you are financially responsible to do so. Would not feel, I know what it's like to suffer financially, and I would never wish that upon anybody else. But if there is such a person, I truly believe 8 billion people in the world. Come on. I probably have about like 10, 15, 20 doppelgangers right now. All right, well,